Hello and welcome. You're watching Money9, India's first multilingual platform for personal finance from TV9 News Network. I'm Sakshi Batra, and on this show, we are going to be talking all about markets and technicals, everything that you need to know as a trader, as an investor. And if you're interested in getting into the markets at this point in time, when the markets are hovering near all-time highs, what is it that your strategy should be? All of this will be discussed with a market expert who will be joining in just in a bit. But before introducing him, let me request all our viewers who are watching us on our YouTube channel to like and subscribe to our channel, and also hit that bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we add a new video. Stay connected with us through all our social media platforms as well, like Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, where we put out latest information and all the updates for you to know from markets and from personal finance as well. And you can also visit our website money9.com, that's both in English and Hindi, to read up all the latest news articles in the world of business, markets, and personal finance. Joining in today is a very special guest. Mr. Milan Vaishnav joins in. He's a market expert and he joins me on First Take. Good morning, Mr. Vaishnav, and thank you very much for taking out time for Money9. Well, help us with your take on the markets currently. Of course, we've seen those all-time highs yesterday, but the markets could not hold on to those levels. And even today, because of the weak global cues, we're again seeing some kind of subdued action taking place. But which way is the market really headed from here?
Well, good morning, Sakshi. Nifty has basically marked a temporary top for itself in the zone of 15,850 and 900. So I believe that so long as markets are below this zone, it will stay vulnerable to some volatile profit-taking bouts. And I don't see any sustainable upsides happening unless the markets move past this point. This moving past 15,850, 900 would be uh, very important for the markets.
Okay, but how soon do you see 16,000 level approaching, sir? We had been waiting for it like in the June series also, but do you see this happening in July series now?
Um, Approaching 16,000 levels is one thing, and moving past in a very convincing way is something other, I
Yeah,
believe. So
yeah.
it might attempt to test 16,000 levels, but it is unlikely that it will move past so soon. I mean, because there has been a massive accumulation of the call open interest on that strike since last several weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and also I'm observing some negative divergences on the lead indicators.
Mm-hmm.
So if the moves are happening too soon and too fast, it would not be so much healthy for the market. So I don't see it moving past 16,000 level too soon and sustaining about that.
Okay, understood that. But going on from here, we are also seeing that the Nifty Bank has participated lesser than the other indices, the major indices in the current of rally and the record high levels that we've so far seen. What kind of expectation do you have on the Nifty Bank financial space, especially going from here?
Financial space per se is a sort of economy facing space,
Hmm.
and when the
Hmm.
markets are in the process of marking at least an intermediate top, it's very typical to see that the economy facing space and stocks which have got the high beta, like banking, financial, they will tend to show weak relative strength against the broader market, and this has been the case with bank nifty so far. We are observing some weak relative strength on these financial stocks, and I expect this to remain this way for some time.
Okay. Why this is important, sir? I also wanted to ask you because yesterday we saw that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, she announced a slew of measures, relief measures for the economy and the COVID battered sectors. A whole lot of new announcements were also made yesterday with respect to providing of loans and credit through microfinance institutions. Apart from that, a lot of steps were announced even for the tourism sector, the power distribution sector as well. And these are especially the economy, related stocks as well. And these have been hit quite badly in the second wave of COVID-19. Is there any kind of an expectation that because of the stimulus coming this way, these sectors may do well going from here?
If we look at the stimulus, I personally feel that it's an old wine which is as such, it is packed in the new bottle. So I don't
Okay.
see again a sustainable reactions on the sectors that you mentioned. Well, there might
Okay.
be some knee-jerk reactions, some short flips that we see on the stock, but overall, the kind of internal strength that we are lacking in the broader markets, I would still believe that it's more of the time to sit and protect profits rather than blindly chasing the moment.
एब्सोल्युटली, ये आपने बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट बात की है कि इस समय हो सकता है आपने प्रोटेक्ट करना है, ज़रूरी हो अपने प्रॉफिट्स को रादर देन गोइंग अग्रेसिव। तो इसीलिए मैं ब्रॉडर मार्केट्स पर भी एक सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि यहाँ पर हमने देखा है कि ब्रॉडर मार्केट्स में भी जब भी मार्केट्स ने ऑल टाइम हाइस टच किए हैं, पार्टिसिपेट ज़रूर किया है, स्पेशली द मिड कैप सेक्टर, और दोनों ही स्पेसेस, इनफैक्ट मिड कैप्स एंड स्मॉल कैप्स अपने रिकॉर्ड हाइस के आसपास ही कामकाज कर रहे हैं। यहाँ पर आगे जाते हुए क्या मोमेंटम जारी रहेगा? क्योंकि अभी तक हमने देखा था क्वालिटी नॉन क्वालिटी सभी स्टॉक्स में अच्छा खासा तेजी देखने को मिल रही थी, लेकिन यहाँ से जाते हुए कुछ एक्सपर्ट्स ये भी कह रहे हैं कि स्टॉक सिलेक्शन करना बहुत जरूरी हो जाएगा, क्योंकि हर तरफ पैसा शायद ना बने अब मार्केट्स में। आपका क्या व्यू रहेगा यहाँ पर?
Well, right. See, if we look at the retail data, I'll let me try and explain you in detail. Retail data
Okay.
data देखते हैं तो जो भी लास्ट मंथ का जो निफ्टी और बैंक निफ्टी का रोल ओवर्स हुए हैं, they are at the decade high. So
Okay.
and they have been fueled by massive retail participation. Now, when we call retail participations are typically they are classified as non-commercials or non-professional investors, and they are always, most of the times they are wrong at major market tops. So there are chances that the exuberance that we are seeing, especially from the retail side, is one of the contrarian sentiment negative sentiment this thing indicator that we need to look at. And
Sure.
and secondly, even while the markets are moving, markets are inching higher and it's marking incremental highs. The
Yeah.
most concerning factor I see is that lack of relative strength in the markets, and secondly, the prolonged period of low volatility that we are witnessing, which is often a sign of a very high degree of complacence from the market participants, which is not so good.
Sure. Sure, understood that, sir. Before I go ahead and ask your recommendations for all our viewers, sir, there are a few audience questions that are coming in. I'd like to take just one of them first. This is coming from Rakesh Kumar, and he wants to ask you, sir, if you could share your views on IDFC First Bank and NCC for the long term and long term targets, if you could share, if you're tracking these particular two stocks that he has asked, sir.
I will be able to give him the broader levels. IDFC first, I think there are major resistance around in the 60-62 zone. So unless the stock is able to move past that thing, it's if he's sitting on some decent profits, it's better that he takes some money off the table and re-enter it above 62 to 64 levels.
Okay, so take some money off the table if you're making profits, Rakesh, and then you can, try and enter again at 62, 64 kind of levels. That's the advice for you, and I hope that answers your question. Thank you for taking that question, Mr. Vaishnav. And now help us understand what are you really trading at this point in time? We are seeing that the markets are completely in a volatile movement. इस समय ऐसे कौन से stocks हैं जो आपको लगता है अच्छा कमा कर दे सकते हैं markets में investors को?
The stocks are mixed. There is no a particular sectoral preference. There is no aggressive or defensive approach. So I'll be going extremely stock specific this time.
Okay.
So I have a buy recommendation on TCS. The TCS can be bought above 3340 with the target of 3450 and the stop loss of 3290. The next two stocks we have a short idea. We recommend shorting Kotak Bank below 1730, the target 1690 and stop loss of 1755. And within the FMCG consumption space, we have a short recommendation on Marico, which can be sold in the range of 530, 535 with the target of 510 and stop loss of 545.
Okay. अंडरस्टूड सो बेसिकली आपने दो शॉर्ट कॉल्स दिए हैं और एक खरीदारी की कॉल दी है और स्पेशली जहां पर वीकनेस देखने को मिल रही है उनमें कुछ बैंकिंग मेजर्स हैं और साथ ही साथ एफएमसीजी के काउंटर्स भी हैं, लेकिन खरीदारी के लिए टीसीएस में यहाँ पर राय दी गई है। इसके अलावा कुछ और पसंदीदा सेक्टर्स आपके मिस्टर वैष्णव जहां पर अभी आपको लगता है इन्वेस्टर्स को फोकस करने से ज्यादा फायदा रहेगा, जहां पर अभी क्योंकि हम काफी ज्यादा सेक्टोरल रोटेशन अब मार्केट्स में देख रहे हैं, तो ऐसे में कुछ पसंदीदा सेक्टर्स आपके?
अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो भी अभी डिफेंसिव अप्रोच होना चाहिए, वेयर द स्टॉक्स लाइक कंजप्शन एंड एफएमसीजी शुड बी डूइंग वेल, they are not doing as much as they were expected to. So keeping those sectors out, I would recommend going long on stock specific selections like Lupin in the pharma pack, and
Okay.
TCS and Infosys from the IT. I am also expecting the dollar index to inch higher, which lead to some depreciation in rupee, which can in turn be supportive to the IT stocks.
ओके, डिफेंसेस पर फोकस, आईटी और फार्मा के काउंटर्स यहाँ पर फोकस में रखने चाहिए और खास तौर पर आईटी में टीसीएस, इन्फोसिस और फार्मा स्पेस में से ल्यूपिन पसंद है अभी मिस्टर वैष्णव को, तो आप भी इन सभी स्टॉक्स को अपने रडार पर रख सकते हैं। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया मिस्टर वैष्णव हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए, एक व्यू रखने के लिए, मार्केट्स पर स्ट्रैटेजीज बताने के लिए और साथ ही साथ ये स्टॉक्स को रेकमेंड करने के लिए। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। इट्स बीन अ प्लेजर स्पीकिंग विद यू।
Thank you, Sakshi.
Okay, and then let's move on to see how the markets are trading at this point in time. Of course, we had a sea of red when we opened up, but quickly the markets saw some buying also taking place, and we are marginally trading above that flat line. When you talk about the benchmark indices, 52,777, that's the level at which the Sensex is trading at, with an addition of almost 42 odd points. For the Nifty 50, if you see, there's just a mild buying right now of about 12 odd points right here. 15,826 is the current level. What's not performing in the markets is clearly the Nifty Bank. That's where the pressure is actually coming in. 0.4% of a decline there, although it's holding above that 35,000 crucial psychological level for the Nifty Bank as well. Broader markets are performing definitely better. The small cap and the mid cap, both the indices are up almost 0.5% in trade right now, and they're trading almost closer to their all-time high levels as well. So there is a whole lot of action in the broader market space. Let's move on to see how the sectors are really performing at this point in time and which are the sectors that are really pushing up the indices further. So you can actually see it's not too much of a buying in any of the sector, mild buying in most of the sectors, weakness coming in only from the private sector banks, the public sector banks, and the financial services. Barring the Nifty Bank and the constituents of the Nifty Bank, the three indices, apart from that, all the other sectoral indices are trading in the green. However, there's like just a mild kind of a gain that you can actually see of about 0.25% to 0.5% kind of gains. FMCG index is really leading from the front today, 0.7% of gains right here. Look at the Nifty 50 gainers and the losers at this point in time to see which are the counters that are really riding high today. So from the gainers pack, you can actually see some counters like Wipro from the IT space, from the auto space, it's Tata Motors. Power Grid is inching higher by over 1%. Asian Paints from the paint space is also buzzing today, and UPL is inching back higher, almost 1% uptick in today's trading session. There's a different stocks from different sectors that are actually participating in the top 5 Nifty 50 gainers. Not very large, banking majors. None of the banking majors are really performing today. They must be in the losers. Let's quickly check how the laggards are also placed, and you'll quickly see some of the banks definitely finding themselves their place. ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, both down today, and Mr. Vaishnav has also given a short call on Kotak Mahindra Bank today. HDFC Life, of course, there's an equity exchange, there's a block deal, and because of this, you can actually see a 0.5% decline here. But from the auto space, it's a mixed bag. We actually saw Tata Motors in the gainers. Maruti Suzuki, the largest car maker, is down by 0.5% today. From the oil and gas space, because of the subdued action on the crude oil prices today, you can actually see ONGC also sliding a little, 1% downtick for this counter today. But overall, if you see, the action is quite subdued. In the beginning, we'll just have to see whether the markets and the bulls take pace throughout this trading session, or is it another day when the bears will go home happy? We'll keep you posted on all of these updates. So for that, you need to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You also need to hit that bell icon so that you can get updated with all kinds of information that we put out for you. Stay connected with us through all our social media platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And also visit our website, money9.com, for all the latest information on markets and on personal finance. Thanks for watching.